All right, so we are now on week 8 to 9, ULOB, or the Unit Learning Outcome B, which is all about the analytic geometry. So we are done with trigo, we are done with algebra, and with basic mathematics. So let's start with the starting topic of analytic geometry, which is all about lines. So if you can read about lines, it's it's a set of points. No, it's the position if any point on plane may be determined by its distance from the y-axis. So y-axis, which is called the abscissa or x-coordinate, and its distance from the x-axis, which is the ordinate or y-coordinate. So the abscissa and ordinate together are called rectangular coordinates or Cartesian coordinates of a point. So some theory that you might need to know. Okay, so here in this Cartesian plane, you can see in this figure, the distance between point 1 and point 2 is denoted as the distance. So the formula between is used to find its value. So from this point to this point, we have a formula. And the midpoint of a line segment is also shown in this figure. So what do we mean by midpoint? It's the point between the line. So ang tunga, no, for example, from this point to sorry. So for example, saan na to? Okay. So from this point, okay, let's say for example, this is a line and we're going how to find the midpoint. So this is the midpoint kung saan siya pagkuha. Okay. So by using the what do you call this Pythagorean theorem, we have arrived at a distance formula in which d is equal to the square root of x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared, this one and this point, plus the y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. Okay, let's say for example, you have a given, which is you have a Cartesian plane, and you're asked to find a point between, let's say, uh, for example, 2, 1, right? This is 2, 1. Okay, I assume you already know how to graph a point. And for example, find the distance between that point to, for example, okay, 4 and 4. So this is 3 and 4. Do not forget y-axis, and this one it would be the x-axis. Okay, so from this point and this point, all right, ayan. So we are going to find the distance between this point and this point. Yan, straight kayo ang line. So to find the distance, that would be having the formula. Okay, square root of y sub 2 minus, so this is y sub 2 and y sub 1, regardless which one is y, which one is y sub 1 or y sub 2, because you square it, it will just arrive at the same answer. Pares ani 4 minus 1 is 3 squared is 9, or kung baliktaron nimo 1 minus 4, that's negative 3 square nimo, that's 9, you will still arrive at the same answer. So regardless of unsa ang imong gusto na y1 or y2, there is no problem with that at all. Okay, then x sub 2 minus x sub 1, since ganun man na to ang x sub 2, then again, that's 4 minus 2 squared. Therefore, your distance would be the square root of 3. Whoops. That's square root of 9 plus 4. Okay? So, meaning the distance would be the square root of 13 units. Okay? Now, if you're asked to find the midpoint, so as you can see here, the midpoint is just to find the midpoint coordinate of this point to this point, which is a line. So what do you think is this point? So if you have a graphing paper, you can actually find the midpoint na. But if you have something like this, ako ano na dili siya precise. So you can actually find the exact point for the midpoint for x would be 4 plus 2 over 2. which is 6 over 2, that is 3. And for y, that would be 4 plus 1 over 2, which is 5 halves or 2.5. So therefore, your midpoint is 3 and 2.5 or 5 halves, right? So where is 3 and 2.5? So somewhere here. Yan. So this is our midpoint. Okay, so that is it for our first example. Now, we have what we call the equations of a line. We are going to learn, but before that, we're going to learn the slope, no, of a parallel line and perpendicular line. So what is a slope? In getting a slope, actually you have a formula for that as well. So your slope would be y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So unsay pasabotan ang slope? Pag makita gani magbukid ana, bukid na siya, no? So ngayon kag unsa kay slope ani nabukid no na stiff man kay or kanang habog man kay siya, no? Or kanang mag-slide ka, no? Unsa kay slope ana na slide? So you might be wondering unsaon na siya pag-calculate. There you go. So it's just a change in y over a change in x, no? That is the slope. Therefore, the change in y, pag nakay point, 2 points dira, so asa nag-change imong y? So obviously, i-minus nimo ang duha ka point sa y ug duha ka point sa x, no? Nan ang pagkuha sa slope. So, according to the theory, the slope, pag parallel daw ang duha ka line, the same yung slope. Syempre, they are parallel man, no? But if it's perpendicular, then for example, ang slope ani niya is 3, no? M equals 3. Pag daw sa perpendicular, ang slope daanan niya is the negative reciprocal of the parallel line. So therefore, that would just be negative 1/3, no? Pag perpendicular. Now for equation of a line, we have actually 4 or 5 rather, 5 types, and they are number 1, the 2-point form formula. So when we say 2-point form formula, given ang duha ka points, okay? So the formula would be, in finding the equation of a line, would be y minus y sub 1 is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1 times x minus x sub 1. Or that would just be simply, the slope na siya, no? X minus x sub 1. Alright, for point slope form. Okay, so for point slope form, kani, nana siya na formula, it's derived there. Okay? Ang problema lang, di problema, ang difference is that, kani siya, given na daan ang slope. No? Given na daan ang slope, wala pa, kuhaon pa nimo. That's why, duha ka points ang given. Later on, we will understand more about this one having some examples. In this one, the given would be, sa slope-intercept form, the given would be the slope, which is m, and the y-intercept. Okay? So, the slope there is m. Alright, so for case number 4, or yeah, that is the intercept form. So, to find the equation of a line for that one, it would be x over a plus y over b is equal to 1. Okay, so we have number 5, which is the general form ax plus by plus c. Let's say, for example, in your exam, you are asked to change, the standard equation y 2x plus 6. Now, you are going to change this one into general form. So, hala, nasukuratan ka no, kayo, sa man ang general form. So, it's just a form na ingon ani. So, una daw si x, then si y, then si c, which is the constant. So, therefore, that would be 2x plus y minus 6 equals 0. So, kani siya, pag inani gani, no, you still need to transform an equation into general form before you can find the distance from a point to a line. So let's say, for example, this is your equation, 2x plus 6, and this one is 0.48. Okay? You're asked to find the distance from this line to this point. No? So, unsa ni siya? Karabaw. Therefore, using this formula, you will get D is equal to A, which is 2, kumana siya AX, times your X sub 1 na makagiven na point, which is 4, plus B, sama ng value sa imong B, that's positive 1. Your value of Y is 8, plus C, which is 6, so minus 6, all over the square root of A squared, which is 4, plus B squared, which is 1. Therefore, that is 8 plus 8, 16 minus 6, that's 10 over square root of 5. Or simply 10 square root of 5 over 5. Or that's 2 square root of 5 units. Okay, so that's it. Now, the challenging part is if you are asked these questions, is a set of questions here, and there are tons of things to remember sa line because line is a very broad topic. That's why you need to study and practice solving. Okay? So, for number 1, find the equation of the line which passes through points 5, 1 and has a slope of 5. So, basically, number 1 has a given m, which is 5, and point, which is 5, 1. So, notice that this is a point and a slope form. Kung gani ng point slope form, how to find the equation? So, point slope form has a formula, which is this one. So, therefore, you can already find the equation with these two given here, which is y minus y sub 1, which is 1, is equal to 5 times x minus x sub 1, which is 5. So that's y minus 1 is equal to 5x minus 25. Simplify this equation. Minus 24. This is your answer. Okay? But sometimes na may choices ang exam. No? You cannot find this answer sa choices. Because maybe ang gibutang sa choices was a general form of a line. Therefore, you can also write this one as 5x plus y plus 24 equals 0. So you can also write it like this. So both answers are correct depending on the question. For example, find the general form of the line. Or kung wala indicate, then never mind. So number 2, find the equation of the line which passes through points 2, 0 and has a slope of 1. The same. No? You have point 2, 0 and slope which is 1. Ay, tama ba? Yes. So, na daw kay 2, 0 na point, slope is 1. Therefore, y minus 0 is equal to x, ym rather, times x minus 2. Therefore, y is equal to x minus 2. Okay, or x plus y plus 2 equals 0. Okay, for number 3. Find the equation of the line which passes through the points 3, negative 2, and 1, 5. Nana daw no. So, guys, if you are asked to graph that one, it's much better. So, nado kay point na sa to? 3, negative 2, and 1, 5. So, 3 and negative 2, that's 1, 2, 3. Then, ang y niya is negative 2. So, it's somewhere here. Okay. And your other point is 1, 5. So, 1 and 5. So, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, somewhere here daw. So, pangitaon doon mo ang point ang equation kanina line. What is this equation? Okay. So, guys, there are a lot of ways. But this is a two-point form, no? There you go. That's 2-point form. So, if dili mo familiar ang mga two-point form, tapos nag-exam na, so, you just simply get the slope, no? So, unsa ganini? 1 and 5. So, ang two-point form daw would be y minus y sub 1. Sa mga y sub 1, ani, it's up to you. So, i-base nato sa given. So, ang y sub 1 would be 2 is equal to y sub 2. Sa ng y sub 2, that's negative 5 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2, which is 1, minus x sub 1 times x minus x sub 1, which is 3. Okay? So, therefore, kani siya, mura gyud ni siya ang slope, no? Uh, because there are some instances na there are sa isa ka situation na duha ka question. For example, find the slope of this inana. And then find the equation. So you're hitting two birds in one stone. So therefore, y minus 2 is equal to negative 5 minus 2. That's negative 7 over negative 2 times x minus 3. Okay. So kani siya ma-positive. So, mahimo siya 2 times y minus 2 is equal to 7x minus 21. Therefore, that's 2y minus 4 equals 7x minus 21. Simplify your equation. So that's 7x minus 2y minus 21 plus 4 equals 0. Therefore, that's 17. All right. So this is your answer for that question. Okay, for number 4. Write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form with... Okay, so kana siya obvious na given na slope-intercept form daw. That's y is equal to mx plus b. Therefore, that is y is equal to, your slope is 7. Your y-intercept is 4. Therefore, this is your final answer. Okay, for number 5. Write the equation of the line in slope-intercept with a slope of 9 and passing through the point 0 and negative 2. So, kani siya, lalo kay slope is equal to 9. Nga nag-pass daw ang equation is slope to form with a slope of 9. And it's passing through the point 0, negative 2. So, katudang equation na itong ginapangita, nag-pass through sa 0, negative 2. So, kung i-graph na to siya, 0 and negative 2. Modo na siya nag-pass. So, somewhere in this modo ni siyang equation. Kaning line. So, mo ni siya na point ang nag-pass through ang kana na siya na equation atong ginapangita. No? So, the question is, how are we going to get this kind of equation? So, we just need to find b here, which is the y-intercept. Look, we have given ang y, that's negative 2. Given ang slope, which is 9. Given ang x, which is 0. Then, our b is what we are looking for, meaning the y-intercept of the equation of this line. So if you're going to substitute that one, that would be negative 2 is equal to, so itong slope, 9 times 0 plus b. Therefore, b is equal to negative 2. Therefore, you will have a final answer of y is equal to 9x minus 2. Now, kana siya is, kanina line is this equation. Okay? Alright, so if you guys have any questions, then I will be glad to answer that one in our Colab or in Blackboard. So please don't hesitate to message me. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good day.